Hello everyone. For section 3.2 for precalculus, going to work through with you guys doing logarithms. First couple things is needing to know how to pronounce these. So this would be log base 10 of 100 is x. So log base 10 of 100 is x. Log base 2 of 8 is x. Log base 10 of x is 2. That's how you pronounce it. Now, none of those things are particularly helpful as far as understanding what it says, but I'm just working right now on you guys' ability to say it. I definitely want to work on you guys' ability to understand what it means, but right now let's just focus on how to say it. Log base 10 of 100 is x. Doesn't matter which format it's in. There's 3 different formats here I'm going to be going through with you. Log base x of 100 is x. So I do want you guys to be able to say it. The other kind is that you have ln. It means natural log. I don't know if it has a Latin base, the reason it's written backwards. Why isn't it NL? If it's pronounced natural log, I don't know. Don't have a satisfactory answer to tell you on why it's written backwards, but it's natural log. You don't say base, you just say natural log of x is 2. You don't say ln of x is 2. It's natural log. You say it out. You pronounce it. Say it out like that was proper English. Okay, here goes. Next thing, difference between this one and this one. Notice that there is no base, at least no base that's written. The analogy I want to draw is this symbol and this symbol. If it's a square root, that 2 is optional. So you guys both know that's square root of 25, as well as this is the square root of 25. When it's a square root, the 2 is optional. When it's base 10, the base is optional. You don't have to write it. This base, however, is different. That's base E. E is approximately 2.7. It's a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal, similar to pi being a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. So E is a number. So this is exactly the same thing as log base E of 4 is x. Another thing that's a real common mistake for kids when they're writing logarithms is that they write, say, for this one, log base 10 of 100 is x. The 100 isn't raised. All of this stuff is on the same line, except 10 is lowered. The 10 here is supposed to be lower and written smaller, similar to an exponent is written higher and smaller. So, don't write the 10, the base, on the same line as everything else. It's lower and smaller like an exponent. Lower and smaller like an exponent. Okay, now, so we got some of those things out of the way. How to pronounce it, that's base E, and how to write it. Now, in this section, in this assignment tonight, you're really just focusing on translating it. Log base A of B is C is exactly the same thing, and it goes both directions, as A raised to the C is B. They're identical statements. And all you're doing today is just transferring back and forth. You're translating from one format to the other format. You're not evaluating anything today. So the translation of this, what means exactly the same, is 10 raised to the x is 100. This is missing its base so that you can assume it's a base 10. So that's 10 to the x is equal to 20. This, if you want to do an intermediate step of writing log base E of 4 is x, by all means do it. The translation would be E to the x is equal to 4. This would be 2 to the x is equal to 8. This would be a base 10 because it's missing. 10 to the x is equal to 1 over 10. Good gravy, my 10s today are awful. 8 to the x is equal to 64. Okay? Doesn't matter the format, and these are in 3 different formats, and I'll talk about those formats in a minute. But right now it's just working on translating them. 10 squared is equal to x. 2 to the 4th is equal to x. 3 to the negative 2 is equal to x. Again, the base is missing, so it must be a 10. 10 to the half is equal to x. The base, it's an ln, so if you need to write that intermediate translation, log base e of x is 2, then it's e squared is equal to x. This would be 8 to the 4th is equal to x. And this third set of translations here is going to be x squared is equal to 100. X to the negative 2 is equal to 1 over 25. And x to the negative 1 is 10. X to the 0 is equal to 1. X to the first is equal to 0. X squared is equal to 7. All right, now I want to go back and look at these 3 different groups. The purpose of a logarithm is to solve for a variable in an exponent. The purpose of a log is to solve these questions. 8 to what power is 64? Now, you guys know that. 8 squared is 64. Okay, you don't need a logarithm to tell you that. I'm just letting you know that the point, the reason for having a logarithm, its purpose, its job, is to solve for a variable in an exponent. If you guys had x to the 1/3 is equal to 7, you don't need a logarithm to solve that. You would raise both sides to the 3rd power to solve this. So you have tools when you have numbers as exponents to solve. When you have a variable as an exponent, the reason for the logarithm exists is to get that variable out of the exponent. How do you do it? You translate it. This would be log base 8 of 64 is x. Notice it's solved for x. It took the variable out of the exponent and solved for it. So what does that lead you to? You pronounce this thing, log base 8 of 64 is x, but even after teaching this for 20 years, I say this and I have no idea what it wants. So I need to encourage you guys, yes, it's important to know how to pronounce this thing, to say this thing, but it's also important to know what it means. It says 8 to what power is 64? When you say it like that, 8 to what power is 64? Or what is the exponent on 8 that gives you 64? It makes it much more meaningful. Let me erase this off of here. The base is missing, so once again it's base 10. 10 to what power is 1 over 10? That's the translation. 10 to what power is 1 over 10? And hopefully you guys remember your exponents. The answer for this would be 10 to the negative 1, so x is negative 1. 2 to what power is 8? I hope you remember your powers. It's 3. Now going back to this, log base 2 of 8. No idea. 2 to what power is 8? 2 to what power is 8? Oh, it's 3. Okay, so it's important that you can pronounce it, but it's also important to understand what it wants. This group up here, this group of 6, is the only group that I've given you where it's solving for x. So these 6 are the only ones that have any reason, any purpose for being written as a logarithm, because the variable's in the exponent. Now there are 3 different locations the variable could be written. The other 2 locations it could be written is it could be written inside the logarithm. It's called written in the argument of a logarithm. 7x is in the argument of the square root. It's inside it. The argument of the square root is 7x. It's in it. The argument of this logarithm is x. It's inside it. When the variable is written in the argument, when it's written inside the logarithm, there's no reason, no purpose for it to be there. And you can see why there's no reason, no purpose when you look at the translation. 2 to the 4th is x. You don't need a logarithm to solve that. It's already solved. These 6 have no business being written as logarithms that serve no purpose whatsoever. They're just writing them like this to see if you can translate it. 10 to the 2nd is x. X to the half is 10. Oops. And here I'm saying, can you translate it? And I can't. 10 to the half is x. Good grief. The base of this is e. E squared is x. 8 to the 4th is x. Again, there's no reason for this being used as a logarithm. Okay? In the third place it could be written is the base. Once again, there's no reason to write this as a logarithm, because when you translate it, do you need a logarithm to solve for this? Heavens no. You would take a square root of both sides. And this brings up an interesting point. When you guys solve this, x is equal to plus or minus 10. Just so you know, you can never have a base that's negative. So even though this may be the algebraic solution to it, you're not allowed to use the negative. The answer to this question is only 10. No negative bases. Later on, we'll work with the understanding of why you can't have a negative base. Okay, so in your homework tonight, you're simply working on translating. I'm just bringing out the awareness that this is the only type of logarithm that makes any sense, because it's solved for the variable. And through the translation, you're able to see why you need a logarithm to solve this, because the variable's in the exponent. You don't have any tool. You can't take the x root of both sides. That makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay? It's important to say, be able to pronounce what it says. Log base x of 10 is -1, but it's also important to understand what it wants. And you guys don't need a logarithm to solve this. Okay? Down here, these are written in exponential form. They're written with exponents. Your job is to translate it out of exponential into a logarithm. Now, again, the only ones that need a logarithm are the ones that have a variable as an exponent. These 3 are the only ones that have any purpose being written as a logarithm. If you want to solve that, you take the cube root. If you want to solve that, you take the cube root. If you want to solve that, well, it already is. If you want to solve that, it already is. There's only these 3 that have a purpose as being as a logarithm. But the exercise is just getting you guys to go through and write them as a logarithm. So this would be log base 3 of x is equal to 5. Log base x of 64 is 3. Log base 2 of 7 is x. So again, this is the only one that was purpose as a logarithm because it's solved for the variable. None of these solve for the variable. So translating this, log base 12 of x is 5. Log base x of 7 is 3. Again, the x is lower and smaller, and the rest of the stuff is written on the same line. Okay? Log base 12 of 3 is x. Log base e of x is 5. And when you have a log base e, you need to take it that step further and write ln of x is 5. Log base e of 7 is x. Then you translate this part of it, and you get the ln of 7 is x. It is completely incorrect to write ln base e of, I don't know, 5 is x. ln base e, it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so you don't write that. It's a shorthand for getting rid of the base. So you write ln of 7 rather than log base e. Okay, that should be all that you guys need to do your homework tonight.